Come on.
Just try something.
My name is Adam Broderick. I'm the pilot today for HealthNet 8 here. We're based out of Martinsburg, not too far away. And as you can see, we fly a Medevac helicopter. What that means is we come out and we help sick people or injured people, and we get them to a hospital of higher level care. So, like I said, I'm the pilot, and today I have two nurses today. I have Kira Boggs and Steve Duncan. We actually brought a paramedic ride along today as well, Dustin Paul. So today we want you to ask as many questions as you can, and we want you to see this helicopter, and whatever you can think of, just please ask us. But we want you to be safe. So as you can see, there's a lot of sharp, pointy objects on this helicopter. So we ask you just don't touch anything unless you ask, and then we will let you. Everything on it is made out of metal or plexiglass, so it can hurt you. Don't climb on anything unless we help you. We can let you in and out of it, but we want you to be safe. For some of you taller people, out back, you'll see a bunch of white things on the tail. Those are antennas. They're very, very fragile. So if you are probably about taller than this, be careful walking around back there. Watch what you're doing, duck down, stay low. That's a very important part. Obviously, it's shut down right now, but when it's spinning, we tell these kind of gentlemen and ladies, when they're loading patients and stuff, we don't want them to go anywhere near the tail, because when that main rotor's spinning, that tail is also spinning. So everything we do, we want to be safe about it. So same thing today, even though it's shut down, we're going to be safe. That being said, I'll be positioned up front where the pilot sits, and our med crew will kind of be in the back and the sides, and we just would like you to come walk around and ask as many questions, and we'll be happy to answer them. Do we have any initial questions before we start? Can I have a ride? You don't want to ride. Rides aren't good. All right, well, come on over.
You want to set up here? So these three seats here is where the medical crew sits, and then this here is where the patient lays. We can transport everything from itty bitty baby to 100% or 100-year-old person, 110-year-old person. So we have to do a lot of training to be able to transport all ages.
You could probably do it in about 25 flight hours, and that might be in like a small Cessna plane or something like that.
For like choppers.
So to get your pilot license in a helicopter, I honestly couldn't give you the right answer on that one. I was military trained, so I'll give you my background. I was in the Marine Corps, started flying in 2008, and I started in fixed wing first. That's the way the Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard does it. So I started flying a fixed wing plane, and then I got selected for helicopters. I went and got helicopters. I got rated as a naval aviator in the Marine Corps, and then I got selected to fly AH-1 Whiskey Cobras, which are attack helicopters. So then I went to that training, and I did that for about 4 years. Did a deployment to Afghanistan, came back, and was up for orders, and I went down to the training command to be a flight instructor. So over the course of 2008 until 2018, so about 10 years, I was flying quite a bit, and I gained about 3,000 flight hours. In order to get a job like this, you need about 2,000 to 2,500 flight hours, I believe. So doing it the civilian route can take a lot of time and money to get there. I know one of our other pilots, he started off the civilian route, got his license, then he started instructing. That built hours to get him to another job. Then he did sightseeing tours to build flight hours. That got him to another job, flying oil rigs out in the Gulf. And then from there, he was able to have the credentials to do this kind of job. I would say probably yes. I'm dual rated on planes. I flew for the airlines for a little bit. I would say helicopters are probably more challenging initially. Eventually, like everything you do, the more you do it, the easier it gets. But when I was a flight instructor teaching guys that knew how to fly a plane but had no clue how to fly a helicopter, there's a lot of things that don't translate the same. For instance, you see the stick in the middle, that's our cycler. That gives us directional control. If I was in a hover, if I go left, it brings us left. If I go right, it brings us right, forward, back, you know. In the middle, underneath my helmet there, is called a collector. That's our power. If I'm in a hover, I pull up on it, it brings us up. If I let down, it lets us down. In a plane, it's the other way around. Your stick, really, and then you have your power, your throttle. You push forward, it makes you go forward. And this makes you go down or makes you go up. So there's a little bit of a translating tendency there where it'll kind of confuse you right out the bat. So you just have to break those habits. But the short answer to your question is everything's easy the more you do it. You know, so. All of them.
Yeah, they're different challenges.
They all have different challenges, yes. When I flew in the Marine Corps, you know, we had to learn a bunch of different tactics and procedures to keep us safe against the enemy. Here we have to know where different hospitals are and, you know, the terrain around the local area, where we can land, where we can't. When I was an instructor, I had to make sure I was keeping the aircraft safe from somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. So they all have their own unique challenges. Weather is always probably the number one. It's unpredictable. It can always change, and that's where you can really get in a pinch. I don't know. It all depends on where you go and how you do it. And, I honestly, I didn't, because I went the military route, I didn't really see too many costs associated with it.
So I'm assuming there's a reason there's a red and blue and green.
Yeah, so, all right, so you have your rotor blades, and then you see those little rods coming down? Those are called pitch change links. So if you look up there, you can see that one's blue to the blue blade. So it's just telling you that your blue pitch change link is to your blue rotor blade. And then when it comes to maintenance, so if we do any kind of overhaul on it or anything, they know where those are. And then obviously that rotor blade's spinning pretty fast. So we have something called track and balance. Make sure that the main rotor and the tail rotor are synced up and that it's going to give us the smoothest ride possible. So when they do that, they have a system where they hook up a couple of computers to the aircraft, and it'll feel the vibrations, and it'll tell them, okay, go up 2 on the blue, down 1 on the red, 1 on the yellow, and 1 on the green.
So it's mainly for me.
Yep. We usually cruise around 110, 120. That's probably about as fast as we'll go. If we're descending, we can probably get a little bit faster, and that's in knots, nautical miles per hour. I forget exactly what that equates to in miles per hour, a little bit more. But for the most part, helicopters, we're not made for speed. We're made for being able to get into a place like this. When I get out of here, I'll probably end up coming straight out and over before anything. You guys are more than welcome to come take a peek in there. If you want to sit in there, you're more than welcome to. It's not terribly difficult to get in. Once again, we watch our head, and then you watch your cyclic there. You just bring your foot over across, slide in like that. So your pedals are going to control your tail rotor. So that tail rotor's spinning around, and if I'm holding a perfect hover like that, it's going to change the pitch on the tail rotor when I push the left or right pedal. So what that does is, if I push left, it yaws the aircraft to the left. If I push right, it yaws it to the right. And that's one of the, as a flight instructor teaching brand new people, one of the most challenging things is to get your brain and your hands and your feet to all work together as a team. Keys, no keys.
Oh, so what are the keys there for?
That's actually for the fuel tank.
Okay.
We can lock up the fuel tank. But that's a good question. Yeah. No keys to start it. So keys are always in it. You just have to figure out the series of buttons and switches to get it going. Yeah, so in flight, so we're in that perfect cover we were talking about. There are rods and pulleys and tubes all through the inside there that you can't see. What they do is those pitch change links, they tilt those blades. That creates a pitch change in your rotor blade, and that's what gives you that lift. That's what's going to bring us up and off the ground. Then, I don't want anybody climbing up there, but if you look in there, there's something called a swash plate, and it rotates. So that's going to be where your cyclic goes. So now you have the blades that are able to do this, and then the whole assembly can kind of move like this based on wherever you tell it to. And like I said, the pedals are connected to the tail, which can give you that. So helicopters are very unique in that manner, is that when you're first learning about them and the aerodynamics of them and the physics of it and how it works, you're just like, I don't believe any of this. And you get to the point where it's like, oh, it's starting to make sense, but still it's just weird. How old Igor Sikorsky figure that one out.
So those like wings coming out the back, are those just for stability?
Yep. Those are, they're vertical stabilizers. So yeah, it just helps you because when you start going forward flight, that tail's going to come up on you. So those just kind of helps. You can kind of see the curve in them, and I think it's kind of like an airplane wing.
Morgantown has an EC-135, the bigger helicopter. So they will take a pediatric team. If it's a very specific pediatric call, like in a hospital, then they will bring that team. And then there's one more specialty that they do. The goal is to get them to a point where they're stable longer than a year is the goal. And if we can't stabilize them, sometimes we'll have to go by ground or divert to another hospital where they can stabilize. But we carry a lot of stuff. We have a ventilator here, we carry blood, we have pumps, we have, this is our child restraint system. If we end up having to take a kid, we can secure them to our stretcher. We carry oxygen, load of medications, so we're pretty lucky to be able to do what we do. We've got a lot of really good backing from our medical director, so we've been able to really do a lot of really big things back here, so it's nice. It's a lifesaver.
We took a patient to Fairfax, and on the way back there was like 40 to 50 knot winds. We didn't fly anymore that night, which meant that we slept. So.
Because I was thinking, the winds we had Monday, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I rarely get car sick, but a couple weeks ago we were on our way to Morgantown, and I had my face in a bag because I thought I was going to vomit. And I usually don't get car sick, but it made me feel nauseous.
Which has a shaft that's going to come up, and that's what's spinning that rotor head. In the military, the first 6 weeks of flight school, you don't even get near an aircraft. You start off your first week in classroom. Starting that second week, you take a test Monday and Friday for the next 3 weeks, and then the last week or two is survival. In order to even go on to actually getting in an aircraft, you have to pass all 6 of those tests, and failing grade is an 80. And when times are tough and there's a ton of pilots ready in the chute, 90s failing. So that was a challenge for me. I went to college and everything, but I was a criminal justice major and wrote a lot of papers, that kind of stuff. When I got there and had to do jet engines and aerodynamics and that kind of stuff and engineering type questions, I was like, whoa, okay, this is a little different. Would turn off on us, but we're not in trouble yet. As long as we have a good spot on the ground, we can do something called an auto rotation. And what that means is, if the helicopter loses both its engines and all its power, we can lower the collective and let the airflow go up and keep spinning our rotor blades. And then using some different techniques, we can use that energy to get us safely to a nice field like this. But like I said, we're really good about not running out of gas. We like gas. Gas is our friend.
It's like soft, but then it's like it like grates on your.
So that's Medcom, possibly a Jefferson to Inova. They're just weather checking right now. They don't even think they have a bed or anything. So if it becomes a flight, they'll let us know.
Have another call?
We don't yet. What that was sometimes a hospital will have a patient and they will call our dispatch and they'll ask them, hey, do you have a helicopter in this area that's capable of flying right now? So they'll give us what's called a weather check. So he was just asking me, am I flyable down to a certain area? And I told him I am. I have the fuel for it and we'll be ready for it if it comes. So we still have a little bit of time with you and we might get a call here soon. We might not. He doesn't know yet. But just in case, I'm gonna shut these. Oh, I don't know, everything you can imagine. Yeah, and we've seen it all. Car accidents where you never imagine somebody lived through that, or falls and fires, all that kind of stuff. Everything. The worst for us is always weather. Yeah, we do a pretty good job of checking weather and looking at stuff, and sometimes it's just unpredictable. I've gone up to Morgantown before where I thought all the thunderstorms were moving off and they started coming back, and I couldn't get to the hospital. I had to land short at the airport, and we landed and got the patient into an ambulance, and then it just came pouring down on us. So just the nick of time. Times where we've been flying back from a hospital, go back to base, and the forecast said it was going to get better, the ceilings and everything, and it got lower, so I had to call up approach and pick up an IFR clearance and pop up into the clouds and shoot an approach back home. Stuff like that. You asked about a military story. Everyone always asks, oh, is it scary in Afghanistan? No, it really wasn't. The worst situations were always self-induced by going into bad weather and flying in bad situations. So absolutely, that's some of the worst things we see around here. Especially on a day kind of like today. Well, it looks like it's clearing up pretty nicely. But when we have lower ceilings and it's cold out, we can't go into the clouds because we'll ice up, so we have to stay below them. So now if we have the clouds here and the mountaintops here and crazy winds coming at us, just like you said, if this is our mountain, winds are going to come along it and they're hitting it, and you get those updrafts. And then on this side you're getting downdrafts. And I think we just got caught. Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your time. We're gonna start up here and go pick up a patient. So, thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adam.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you. Y'all have a good one. Yeah, we gotta go pick somebody up down Jefferson.
All right, gentlemen, be safe today.
See ya.
You too.
Enjoy your hat.
Thanks. All right, one room done.